all the organizers and cadres and the activists and sympathizers who are attending this South Indian convention of Aimbscs, which has been organized specifically to reorient the movements here in South India towards Ambedkarism and to make it successful. First of all, I apologize for coming late, and because I'm coming from Maharashtra, a little bit of calculations of the routes and timings went wrong, and I was expected yesterday night, but I couldn't reach yesterday night, so all the night I traveled, and I'm reaching here. In the same way that Baba Sahib's movement couldn't reach Kerala during the peak of Ambedkarite movement, to this great land of the Nagas, to which I have given a new terminology, because the Nambudiri Brahmins have been saying that this is the God's own country. I said that Kerala has never been God's own country, it has been Buddha's own country, and let us make it as the Buddha's own country. So during the period of Baba Sahib's movement, the Ambedkarite discourse could not reach Kerala. I have been pondering a lot over, what went wrong and why, this movement couldn't reach Kerala, because South India it reached, and South Indian, the Bahujans are very, fortunate in that sense, not in the sense of luck or something like that. From the moment of Ayodhya and later on Periyar and other people, and R. Srinivasan and Srinivas, Tamil Nadu participated in the Ambedkarite movement in a big way. I need not repeat the history that when the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, they received recognition for the first time in the Indian history as the citizens. Tamil Nadu played a big role with Baba Sahib Ambedkar, because R. Srinivasan was there with Baba Sahib Ambedkar in the second roundtable conference. But Kerala had a big history of movement, and it started with Aimbscs, the first Dalit radical leader of Kerala, whose movement, though it is contemporary of Narayan Guru's movement, but Narayan Guru's movement is a reformative movement, whereas Aimbscs' movement was a radical movement. This is an important point that we all have to understand. That whereas Narayan Guru's movement was a reformative movement, Aimbscs' movement was a radical movement. Because Narayan Guru, in spite of his great efforts to transform the Kerala society, could not recognize the problem of the religion and Brahmanism. And this constrained the whole Kerala society. If anyone had studied the Izava movement, or the movement of the Thiyas or the Bilawas, as they are, ascribed to, and anyone who have referred to 2 or 3 great leaders of the Izava movement, like C.V. Krishnan and Shahadran Ayyappan, they can understand all these things that Kerala itself during the period of Narayan Guru, it had a great debate whether there should be a big conversion to Buddhism or not. That was a central debate that took place in the SNDP movement. And I'm very happy because I'm here in Kerala, the great land of the Nagas, the Buddha's own land, because in 2nd century BC or 3rd century BC, Kerala and Tamil Nadu had great history of Buddhism and Jainism. Perhaps that was destroyed by the counter-revolution of the Shankaracharya in the 7th century AD. And today the Kerala society, it was divided into caste and untouchability. Worst sorts of Kis Maryada and Kis Vakam. Those were the caste, phenomena here in Kerala. I do not know whether my pronunciations of the terminology is right or not. But the caste system here in Kerala was ascribed as Kis Maryada and Kis Vakam. So all sorts of disabilities and discriminations of caste and untouchability, they were imposed in the Kerala society. And only one state of India which saw 3 types of untouchability. That is untouchability, unapproachability and unseeability. It was only in Kerala. No other part of India, all the 3 forms of untouchability existed. So during Narayan Guru's movement, there was a debate that whether religion is the problem for our sufferings or not. And perhaps in spite of the great regard to Narayan Guru, Narayan Guru couldn't comprehend that religion is the basis of the creation of the caste system. And but some of the great leaders of the SNDP movement like C.V. Krishnan and Shivadran Ayyappan, they could comprehend this fact, and I'm very happy that C.V. Krishnan and Shivadran Ayyappan, they became Buddhists, though there was not a mass conversion in Kerala in the way that it happened in Maharashtra later on in the leadership of Babasaheb Ambedkar, but they embraced Buddhism. Now, when we are here in South India, and South Indian cultural history had a great history during the period of the Buddhist period and preceding that. Because this is the land of the Nagas. Once I was in Tamil Nadu some 5 or 6 years before, and people said that it is Tamil Nadu. I said no, it is a wrong pronunciation. It is not the Tamil Nadu. It must be Naga Nadu. It is not the Tamil Nadu. It must be Naga Nadu. It is the land of the Nagas. So, and people were delighted to understand these things, because we have to understand the basic cultural history of India. What is the pre-Vedic history of India? That is one important aspect that we have to understand. Before I come on Ambedkarism and deliberate upon its philosophy and ideology and how we can make Ambedkarism successful, we have to understand a little bit of cultural history of India. And I feel we are very much familiar. But the pre-Vedic history of India is nothing but a conflict of thought and superiority between two cultures. That is, one is the Naga culture and another is the Aryan culture. The pre-Vedic history of India, it is a conflict of thought and superiority between two cultures. One is the Naga culture and another is the Aryan culture. And as we all know that the Aryan culture, which later created the Vedas and the various Shrutis and Smritis, as they are called, the Dharma Shastras, to which I have been saying that they are not Dharma Shastras, they are Adharma Shastras. They are not Dharma Shastras, but they are Adharma Shastras, because they do not recognize humanism. A religion must recognize essentially humanism. But all the Brahminical scriptures from Vedas to Balambati, if you go from Vedas, then Arkhanyas, then the Upanishads, then the various Smritis, the commentaries, and the last Brahminical scripture is Balambati. So if you go through all the religious scriptures of India, you will find that none of the religious scripture as created by the Brahmins, they recognize the human dignity or humanism as the base of their religion. In fact, what has been Dharma in India? I have been often speaking on this, and I have authored a chapter in my book on Pune Pact, Historical Harms by Gandhi, Gandhism and Commerce. A separate chapter on this, because Gandhi also was not against Dharma. And Babasaheb Ambedkar rejected Dharma. We have to understand this thing. Gandhi wanted Varna and Dharma in India. So what was the thinking of Gandhi? And what was Dharma in India, or what is Dharma in India? If you go to the scriptures, the Brahminical scriptures, you will find one thing, that Dharma is nothing but an irreligious, inhumane, unjust law of Varna and caste. Dharma is nothing but an irreligious, inhumane, unjust law of Varna and caste. That is Dharma. If you read all the Dharma Shastras, and if you read the interpretation of the Dharma Shastras, most standard interpretations of the Dharma Shastras have been written by P.V. Khane. He had been awarded Bharat Ratna for that, and he himself was a Brahmin. He himself has defined that Dharma is nothing but the irreligious and inhumane and unjust law of Varna and caste. So if we go by the Brahminical scriptures, we come to one conclusion. And what is that conclusion we come to? The conclusion that we come to is that Dharma in India is nothing but an irreligious, inhumane, unjust law of Varna and caste. So Gandhi also wanted Dharma and Varna. And as you know, there was a big debate and conflict between Babasaheb Ambedkar and Gandhi. And Gandhi was defeated by Babasaheb Ambedkar. Perhaps many people don't know so. And I have been saying that, you see, Baba Sahib Ambedkar is recognized all over the world. Because now, if you are speaking about the 20th century or 21st century, Gandhi's philosophy or thought is not relevant for the world. If you go to the London School of Economics, or if you go to Simon Fraser Library, Canada, if you go to Columbia University, you will not find the statue or you see portrait of Gandhi there. You will find the portrait and statue of Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar. Only Baba Sahib's statue and portrait is reflected in London School of Economics and Columbia University and Simon Fraser Library. Do you know there is a significance to this? And when I'm speaking in Kerla, again, I feel this has to be discussed and this has to be deliberated. And I'm very particular in saying so, that today the philosopher of the world is not Karl Marx. Because Kerala was swayed or misguided by Marxism. Let us deliberate on Marxism and Ambedkarism also in Kerala. Today the philosopher of the world is not Karl Marx. Today the philosopher of the world is Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar. We must understand this fact, and there is a very strong reason to this. Why Marx may be a good person, I am not against Marx as a person. But Marxism as an ideology, Marxism as a philosophy, it does not discusses the problems of caste, religion and ethnicity. Marxism as an ideology, Marxism as a philosophy, does not deal with the basic problems of caste, religion and ethnicism. Now the Adivasis of India, they are affected due to caste discrimination and ethnic discrimination. That is the problem of the Adivasis. The Dalits of India, the denotified and nomadic tribes of India like the Lambadis, Banjaras, Kaikadis, Vantar, Pardis, Gadi Luhars, or the OBCs of India, they are basically affected by the caste discrimination and the religious discrimination. Marxism as an ideology or philosophy does not deal with the problem of caste, religion and ethnicity. And therefore, Marxism is not an alternative philosophy which can liberate the Bahujans in India or in the world also. Because now there have been a lot of post-Marxist debates in the world. On the contrary, Baba Sahib Ambedkar is the first philosopher of the world who systematically propounded not only on the problem of caste, but all the sufferings and dukkhas of the humankind. Baba Sahib Ambedkar is the only philosopher of the world, and I am saying this with all the conviction in my mind and all the study behind my conviction, that Baba Sahib Ambedkar is the only philosopher of the world which has not only scientifically deliberated upon the problem of caste, but upon all the sufferings and dukkhas of the humankind. You see, Marx, to be very simple, I will explain you. When Marx discusses about the bourgeois or the proletariat, the Marxist philosophy does not go beyond the stomach of the man. The Marxist philosophy does not go beyond the stomach of the man. Because Marx always spoke about economics. But human being or man is not only homo economicus. Man is also cultural being. Man is also social being. Man is also affected by religion, by various systems in the society, and of course economics also. So to be very precise, Marx's limitation is that Marx does not go beyond the stomach of man. But Baba Sahib Ambedkar is the first philosopher of the world who not only discusses about the economic problems of the humankind, but he also discusses about the dignity and the mind, the human mind. Because it has been proven all over the world that any transformation in the human society takes place only by the transformation of the mind. Any transformation of the human society takes place only by the transformation of the mind. And Marxism as an ideology or philosophy does not discuss upon the dignity and the mind of the humankind. And therefore you see what has happened to Russia, what has happened to China. China today is going on the path of capitalism. China is no more a Marxist country today. What has happened to Russia? Russia today is not a communist country. So Marxism as an ideology, the Marxist revolution in the world could not succeed because Marx's limitation. He might be a good person. We have regards for Marx, but Marx's philosophy or ideology is not complete. So therefore, today Marx is not the leader of the world. Marx is not the philosopher of the world. The philosopher of the world is Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, and we must be very, very delighted and happy for this, because it is the Nagvanshis of the India, the Bahujans of India, who produced the greatest intellectual of the world, and his name is none other than Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, and we must be proud for this. But when you are clapping, I am not feeling that you are so much proud, because every time you clap, then there is some hesitation in your mind. So, but this is really the greatest phenomenon of the world. You know why? I will explain you some of the important aspects. Some of the important aspects I will explain. In the last 1,000 years of human history, there have been 10 to 11 revolutions. There has been a French Revolution, there has been American Revolution, there has been Chinese Revolution, and there has been a Russian Revolution. 4 revolutions, 4 socio-political revolutions in the world. French Revolution, American Revolution, Russian Revolution, Chinese Revolution. Before that there was a British Revolution also. There had been 2 revolutions apart from these 4 revolutions. What were the 2 revolutions apart from these 4 revolutions? The 2 revolutions apart from these 4 revolutions were the revolution in science. Science challenged the religion. So in science there have been 3 revolutions. 1, industrial revolution. 2nd, info revolution. And 3rd is bio revolution. Science has undergone 3 revolutions. Industrial revolution, info revolution, bio revolution. Today we are living in a bio age. So apart from 4 revolutions in the socio-political systems of the world, there have been 3 revolutions in the realm of science. And apart from this, there have been other transformations in the world. We have seen that democracy came. We have seen that human rights came. In the realm of religion, there have been two revolutions. One is the Christalian movement and second is the Protestant movement. In the realm of religion, there have been 2 revolutions in the last 1,000 years. So 4 revolutions in the socio-political system, 3 revolutions in the realm of science, and 2 revolutions in the realm of religion. In this way, the world history, the human history has seen around 1,000 years of revolutions in the world. But what is the question today? The question today is, in spite of these 10 revolutions of the world, and in spite of the fact that we have produced 4 isms and systems in the world. What are the 4 isms and systems that we have produced in the world? The 4 isms and systems that we have produced in the world is, one is capitalism. That is the ideology and system of Adam Smith. 2, present day capitalists or neolibertarians who are sitting in the Wall Street. So one is the ideology and system of capitalism. Second is the ideology and system of Marxism or socialism. Third is the ideology and system of democracy and human rights. And third is the system, of course, and ideology, it's not so predominant, but it is being discussed nowadays, of welfareism, of which Amartya Sen is a scholar nowadays. So the past 1,000 years of human history has witnessed 10 revolutions, has given product to four isms, 4 philosophies and systems, that is of capitalism, socialism or Marxism, democracy and human rights, and welfareism. But today, The world is suffering for various dukkhas. Humanity is facing various dukkhas. There is not only poverty, but there is also inequality, not only in India. I will not speak about only India. Let us not speak about India, because India, if at all you see the great so-called leaders, or you see politicians who often claim that no, हम India को चेहरा change कर देंगे, ये कर देंगे, वो कर देंगे. Manmohan Singh was there, our great Prime Minister, who had been saying that India is growing at the rate of 8%. But if you see the Human Development Index, India is at 134th rank. India is at 134th rank in Human Development Index. India is at 129th rank in the Gender Inequality Index. India is at 107th rank in Education for All Index. If you take the per capita income of India, India is at 88th rank in the world. 88th rank in the world. So when Manmohan Singh or Congress have been saying that India is growing at the rate of 8%, it does not mean that inequality in India abolished at the rate of 8%. On the contrary, there are figures to show that in 1999, when the LPG policy was implemented in full swing, there were only 6 $1 billion billionaires in India in 1999, and their net assets were 31,000 crore rupees. Today, after 2 decades of the implementation of the LPG policies, that is the liberalization, privatization and globalization, there are 55 $1 billion billionaires in India whose assets are 11,35,000 crore rupees. In 1991, their assets were only 31,000 crore rupees. After 20 years, their assets are 11,35,000 crore rupees. So if I go on discussing about the problems of India, I feel it will be unfair because we are discussing Ambedkarism. I can throw a light upon so many things, because people say that Modi आएगा तो change हो जाएगा, and some Congress आएगा, Rahul आएगा तो change हो जाएगा. I say no Baba, ये Kejriwal आएगा तो change हो जाएगा. No, no one is going to change India in this way. You know why? Because no one is speaking what is the problem of India. What is the problem of the reconstruction of India? Neither Modi, nor Rahul Gandhi, nor Kejriwal, they are speaking about the basic problem of India. What is the basic problem of India? It is not whether India grows at the rate of 8% or 10% or 12% or 5%. This is not the basic problem. It is not the basic problem whether there is a corruption in India or not. Of course, corruption in India is highest not only in the government sector but in the religious sector. No one is pinpointing to this point. And therefore, if at all we require Jan Lokpal, first of all we require Jan Lokpal to abolish the corruption in the temples of India. What will be done to the property of this Padmanabhan, no? Abhi 6 darwaja khulna baki hai. The 6th door is still not opened, Padmanabhan Swami. How much gold and how much assets were found in that? Amountless. Countless. Still it is not calculated. What is going to happen to that? Why Kerala people are so relaxed with the Padmanabhan property, and they are thinking that okay, Padmanabhan temple mein rahega to chalega. What is the use of that gold and that wealth there in Padmanabhan? Whether it should not be spent for the education, for employment, for housing, for health of the people of India? The Indian government budget, after giving exemption to the companies in taxes, it was around 16,40,000 crores, something like that, the last budget. This year was an interim budget. 5,77,000 crores was a tax exemption given by the government. If we add to both these things, the tax GDP ratio, even at the modest tax GDP ratio of 17%, which is very low in comparison to the other countries, the Indian budget would have been somewhere around 20 lakhs or 21 lakh crore rupees. But you know what is the property which is lying in the temples of India? According to an estimate, every year, almost all 10 to 11 lakh crore rupees, it is deposited in the temples of India every year. And till today there is no survey, no census to count that what is the amount of wealth which is actually lying in the temples of India. If you calculate the gold, the jewelry, the land assets, the rupees, monies which is being used donated, if you add up all the assets of the temples of India, there is no reasonable estimate, but it is being estimated that the temple wealth of India is almost all equal to the GDP of India, and the GDP of India is 90 lakh crore rupees, and the temple property of India is also in and around 90 lakh crore rupees of India. You know, no one is picking up on this economics of India. The Marxists never find a fault that the value, the temple wealth of India is a surplus value. I have not seen a single Marxist movement which was started to take out the wealth from the temples, whether it is Padmanabhan Swami or whether it is Tirupati temple, and spend it on the education, health and housing of India. Is it not the surplus value? If we speak about the theory of Marx, it is a surplus value because it is the value which has been swayed away by mental slavery, hard-earned, toiled money of the Bahujans, and it has been transferred to the Brahmins in India. It is a surplus value if we speak in the Marxist theory. But no Marxist has the courage to start a movement for the nationalization of temple property of India. But I am very happy that we will be the first movement and organization of India which will be starting the movement for nationalization of temple property in India. We will be the first movement in India which will start this movement कि भारत के मंदिरों की संपत्ति का राष्ट्रीयकरण करो, nationalize all the temple wealth of India, and there will be no poverty in India. You don't require to take any loan from World Bank or IMF or any of the WTO. You see, I will discuss a lot of economics, but let me be fair, because when I am speaking about Ambedkarism, let us not only discuss the problems of India. Of course, Ambedkarism is the only philosophy which can liberate the Bahujans and create an enlightened India. And beyond that, Ambedkarism is having a universal dimension, because I am the first person in India who defined that Ambedkarism is a universal ideology. Ambedkarism is a universal ideology, it is a universal philosophy, it is a universal policy for ending all the dukkhas and sufferings of the humankind in the world. So, I was discussing that in spite of the 10 revolutions in the world and the 4 isms and systems of the world, still there is problem. There are 10 dukkhas of the world. Let us recognize this fact. You see, no thinker in the world, you see, there have been many good people in the world. I don't say that there have not been good people in the world. There have been bad people, bad leaders, bad thinkers. There have been good people, good thinkers, good leaders in the world. But no person in the world, and we must be very, very particular about this. I am repeating this often and often. There may be good leaders, good thinkers, good revolutionaries. But no thinker, no philosopher, no revolutionary of the world has spoken that how the human sufferings and how the human dukkhas can be abolished in the world. How the human sufferings and human dukkhas can be abolished in the world. What is the real problem of the dukkha? What is the real problem of the suffering? You see, all the